The Walking Dead, Season 1, Episode 3. Thoughts? This episode is called Tell It to the Frogs, which I don't really understand because I don't think any character on the show so far is French, but whatever. Another episode I love. Spoilers for, this episode and the ones before it. And the episode is rated TV-14 somehow. So will this video be? So let's dive right in. The show continues to have the same strengths as the previous episodes. I think I'm gonna stop saying that because it keeps being, if I remember, I'll let you know when that changes. Really appreciate, really powerful when Rick, meets back up with his family. And I am always down for seeing Sarah Wayne Callies do here what she did so well on Prison Break, and Jon Bernthal do here what he did so well as the Punisher and in Fury, displaying complex emotion without really getting dialogue to work through, I'm not, no acting is easy. Well, I guess bad acting, but if they had lines where they could say, but I thought this and that, and now I see that, that would be, kind of corny and wow, you're really spelling it out. But then they could play on the exact words, but it's just the face, that is very, very difficult. And, they do amazing at it. And, of course, later in the episode, she is frustrated that Rick is taking this massive risk. He just got back, Sarah Wayne Callies' characters are not always fortunate in their choice of partner. He does sometimes take risks. Now, I think that does get us nicely to... in general, I thought they did a fantastic job really using the fact that now the family is completely reunited. These various things, the kind of flirty, teasy kind of thing of, well, you're very cocky, and the thing of, I knew because of the photo album and the framed photos. And it's such a sweet little moment, it's whether in fiction or in real life. I love when, a couple know each other that well, that's just, and she gets out the photo album and he puts in the picture, just so sweet, just, let's see, I think that, let's switch gears. Norman Reedus, always happy to see him. It's Scud. Love him in Blade 2, The Boondock Saints, and now this. There's probably other stuff, but those are, the first things that come to mind with him. And, playing, Daryl. There was so much Dixon-branded TNT. Blew that punchline. Let me try that again. There was so much Dixon brand nitroglycerin on this show that they had to pour some of it into a second vial. He's just as dangerous and unpredictable as his brother. And I want there to be an outtake where, right after he's like, I can't believe, we lost the venison, which sucks because venison's dear, isn't it? And, don't you know anything? You have to destroy the brain, which is also such a cool, the zombie head still moving, holy crap, just, Somewhere, Herbert, crap, what's his last name? Anyway, the reanimator is smiling, but and I just want there to be an outtake where Rick says, you're Daryl, your brother's dead. My fault, just that would be a really funny outtake, I think, but and a walker getting that close to their camp. And we again see, when there is that much meat, they don't really care about the humans. It didn't seem like it at all touched Carl. He was just scared. And it was a great little thing, because, he's a kid, so he doesn't shout there's a walker here, but I'm okay. He just screams because he's afraid, and when we first hear him scream, we don't know, we think that it's like a wound, an injury or something. And let's see, that brings us to, but yeah, Dixon struggled to hunt, or struggled. He went through the effort to hunt. I hear it's very difficult to hunt, yeah. And let's see, according to that one Simpsons episode, Donna Dixon is one of Santa's reindeer, so did he kill a relative there? But yeah, understandably frustrated. He did still get some squirrels, but that's all that they have now. And yeah, unsurprising that he immediately jumps at, we gotta get Merle back. And there's, a physical altercation, and the let's see. Yeah, I really appreciate, Rick pointing out, I cannot leave a man to die of thirst and exposure. And it's true. And that was also a great, yeah, that was, I think, the first scene of this episode, Merle up there and, yeah, just basically breaking down, which is understandable. The sun and lack of water. And it might have been a while since he last had anything to drink anyway. So, yeah, and he, we realized by the end of the episode, as, seemed so before then, but he did indeed hallucinate the walkers, or the geeks. The different people call them different things. Yeah, not a problem, just something I noticed. I got glasses. Am I a zombie? Geeks. Anyway, yeah, let's see. Yes, he doesn't know, and maybe it also, after a while he stopped believing, about the padlock, I want to say it's called. I like the trade thing that, yeah. Let's see, I think that does pretty much cover that chunk. Right, and I also thought his dialogue was really great, both the writing and delivery. He starts praying, and then he says, "I'll never pray," and it is, again, the loss of control that's really getting to him. And we also see that with Ed at the end of the episode. It's not even this, like, if he wasn't a misogynist, he wouldn't even think about it, because, like, they're not, the women are not being unreasonable here. He's not doing anything. He's just standing there smoking and complaining about them, like, having a little bit of levity while they're working. It's not like they stopped working. They're still working. They just laughed, but some misogynists cannot handle seeing women enjoying themselves, especially if it's not a straight man making them happy. It makes them feel disposable. Male fragility is very real. And let's see, yeah, what's the other thing? Yeah, it's the fact that a woman is telling him how things should be, and that just, he can't handle a woman having more power than him, even if she's right. And I really appreciated how, yeah, complex and nuanced this depiction was of spousal abuse. It is indeed true that a lot of, a lot of people who have been hit by their partner, I do want to acknowledge, it's not always men hitting women. A lot of the battered partners will, like, make excuses for them, and when she sees Ed hurt, she runs up to him and apologizes, like, as if somehow this is her fault, and yeah, like, you might think, oh, but she wouldn't want anything more to do with him. He just hit her, and it's not the first time he's hit her, but that is how it is. It is more complex than this person is dangerous. And I really appreciate media acknowledging that. We got to get past this thing of like blaming, because the problem is, if you think, oh, who wouldn't just leave that situation, well, then you end up blaming and maybe not believing the survivors of this abuse. And I did also really like the women talking about what they miss, the various modern conveniences. And of course the young one is like, I miss my computer, I miss texting, this. Yeah. And let's see, yeah, they start talking sex toys, and several of them admit, several of them miss it. And again, I really appreciate like the show acknowledging female sexual desire and pleasure. Just again, we gotta normalize this, because other than asexuals, I do not feel qualified to speak on asexuality, but outside of that, yeah, women also feel sexual desire. And if the person attempting to provide it knows what they're doing, pleasure. Now, I think that might just about... Let's see, there's... right, I like... Poor Glenn, like, it's... look at this car. It's okay, I'm sorry, I should have made sure it didn't make so much noise. And, then they're, like, stripping it for parts, like, go on, you vulture. I was hoping to drive for at least one more day, just... Yeah, I like Glenn. Very adorable. And let's see. Yeah, I really appreciate when they start talking about, at first, like, yeah, Shane and others are very much against, them going back to the city. But they also, what about the guns, and yeah. I really appreciate, like, their characters actually do listen, like, with some exceptions, but they, a lot of the time, listen to each other. It would be so annoying if Shane was like, somehow didn't believe him, because like no, he knows they had a bunch of guns at the police. Like, I'm sure if Shane had the time, he would have grabbed those guns. He's like, that would be really good. Let's get them, or you guys go get them. Laurie wants a clean break from Shane, which that is also something that happens in real life. Some people, I don't know if it's more common for women than for men, but some people do want to just, completely cut off the person. And I do appreciate, like, he's trying to just still be the I guess no longer stepdad, but like fun uncle kind of thing. And yeah, they were talking about catching frogs, plural, earlier. And Laurie, like, I'd rather eat Miss Piggy. Wow, someone's really anti-Kermit. Lay off the guy. It's not easy being green. And it obviously does not help the relationship between Laurie and Shane that Shane was the one who said that Rick was dead. I think that does pretty much... Yeah, excellent cliffhanger. Like, as the episode was coming to a close, I was thinking there's no way that... I don't know exactly what's going to happen at the end of the episode, but there's going to be some kind of cliffhanger. And the fact that, now Merle is out there bleeding, there's, like... If he doesn't stop that bleeding very quickly, he's gonna first pass out and later die. So, yeah, that really is... And one can understand, because he was hallucinating walkers. And that was also great. I love when TV shows do this. They show him try to use the belt to get the hacksaw, I think it is. And then cuts away. Some time passes. When it cuts back, we see the bloody hacksaw, and we see the hand and the bloody handcuffs. And just, yeah, it took him a while to get the hacksaw. It took him a while to saw through. It doesn't look like all the blood has dried, so maybe he's not too far away. But yeah, I think that might be it for this one. I feel like, was there maybe one more thing that... right, I thought they did a good job setting up, Ed does sometimes not do the smart thing. He starts too big of or increases the fire too much. I don't know the terminology, but yeah. And, at first, like, dude, when Shane, like, I feel like Shane is the kind of person, if he's telling you this is wrong, like, I'm not saying he's never wrong, but it seems like, maybe listen, and Ed knows Shane by now. They didn't meet yesterday, as best I can tell, so, yeah, but, Ed is one of those guys, it's not only men, but a lot of the time it is, who cannot really handle when someone criticizes him, even if it's fair. Yeah, it sucks that it's cold, but you know what sucks more? Walkers. They suck, they bite, they chew. Ow. Now, right, also really appreciate, yeah, when Shane beats him, which is, like, one can understand, like, I would not, I believe violence should be the absolute last resort. I would, if I was in that situation, as soon as Ed has been prevented from hitting, like, maybe, I don't know, like, put him in a hold until he yields or something, but Shane keeps punching him in the face and kicking him after Ed has stopped resisting. That's all the scene is missing. Shane going, stop resisting, stop resisting. But, yeah. Really appreciate, yeah. Anyway, 100% understand. Yeah. I agree with Shane. Don't hit women. Just don't. And, the like, basically, if someone hits a woman, I feel like the one time that's at all okay is the like, some kind of sports, boxing or something, yeah. And even then, I mean, Imane Khalif, even though there's no, like, real credible evidence for her being trans, and there's credible evidence against it, she still got in trouble for that, even though, like, it's not like she punched someone just randomly, the name of her opponent escapes me at the moment, but, stepped into the ring and everything, let's see, but yeah, right. Something I really appreciated was the episode acknowledged that this is something that is true for a lot of women. I'm not saying all. Seeing someone be violent, even if it is against someone who's been violent, and, like, because the four women basically immediately take issue with Shane punching Ed. Like, when he just, like, grabs Ed and drags him away so that Ed can no longer punch women, at that point, it's not really an issue. But then he starts hitting, and none of the women are like, yes, take that, finally, taste of his own medicine. Because the thing, and this is something I hope that a lot of, men realize from watching this episode, because it is a lesson a lot of young men need to learn. If a woman sees you being violent, even if it is, at least somewhat to stop someone else from committing greater violence, for a lot of women, when she sees that man, she's going to think of the violence, and she's going to worry that that violence is going to befall her or someone else. And that there's so much American media where a woman will witness a man committing violence on her behalf or someone else's, and be like, wow, that, you know, what a hero, you know. And I'm not saying it never happens, but there's a lot of movies that make it seem like that's the only response. And then you have these men getting angry at the woman because, no, you're supposed to be happy about it, you know. And way too often the guy will get mad at the woman instead of the media that lied to him. That's another thing. We gotta normalize placing the blame accurately, including on, you know, that's part of growing up, is realizing there was a lot of media that lied to you, and to not blame the people that happened to reveal that you had been lied to.